Hello, everyone. My name is Danny, and I'm here with Deanna. And the purpose of this podcast is, well, first of all, we've both have had our own struggles in life with mental health and well-being. And for myself, uh, I've got some progress in the last few years, and I just started to feel compelled to help other people in any way I can because I know what it feels like to basically not feel so well. And I think it's important that people have hope or can see in others that it is possible to feel better. And Deanna is someone who's helped me a lot. She's actually my Gestalt coach, but she's has her own experiences in life, and oftentimes it's good to learn from people that have actually experienced what you're going through. And yeah, we're going to talk about a lot about my journey, and then Deanna has a lot of knowledge in general, so we're going to tap into that quite a bit as well. And I'd just like to let Deanna speak a bit about what we're doing here today as well.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Danny, for your introduction. Um, yes, we have the intention of um, sharing our experiences, sharing what has worked for us, what it can be useful for people who are in their journey to connect with themselves, the ones that want to play an active role in their maintaining and or getting your health and well-being right on spot. So that's the intention we are here for. So yeah, Danny, back to you.
Awesome. So we named this first episode starting from the beginning. And this is our first podcast, and also a lot of people are starting from the beginning, and that can feel daunting and overwhelming. There's so many things you could do to feel better. There's so many programs and this and that out there. So to start out, I'm going to tell you a bit about some of the first things that gave me some traction to start to feel better. And then Deanna can also speak on that concept a bit more broadly. So for me, I found that eating healthy was really the first thing that gave me some of a foundation to progress further. And that kind of happened by accident. Um, but it was interesting because I thought I had all of these problems in my head, which I had real problems in my life. But once I started eating healthy, that gave me kind of the fuel or energy to start making changes. And I also just started feeling better. So I realized, a lot of my problem personally was that my body's just not getting the nutrition it needs to, work properly. So, um, basically for me, I started packing my own lunches because I wanted to save some money. And around that same time, I started dating my partner, Maria, who eats healthy. And then soon after starting to pack my own lunches for work, I said, you know what? Why don't I just pack healthy lunches? And that kind of automated the process. I never had to choose what I ate at lunchtime. I just always had healthy food. And that was just a big step for me. Um, Deanna, yeah, what do you think about when someone's first starting out? Like, should they maybe pick one thing? Should they explore? I know your Gestalt background talks about the holistic aspect of well-being. So, yeah, maybe you could
Yeah.
just speak on that.
Yes, that's right. Gestalt is Gestalt therapy and Gestalt coaching. They are they consider the human being as a whole. So we are affected by our environment. We are affected by our own internal factors, by external factors. Um, which also, matches with my background in Chinese medicine, which also talks about in endogenous factors like what I eat, or an exogenous factor, for example, the wind, or what is happening outside in my environment. So both of them, they are tapping into this wholeness, like we are a whole, we are not separate beings, in the sense that my mind is also completely connected with my body, my emotions, my energy, like all, we are a whole being, aside from the fact that we are at work. So that is also part of my wholeness, or my family, my whatever happens at home. So we are a whole being, and we are impacted by everything that in where we are living or working, as I was saying before. In my case, Danny, I used to work, I don't know, it was 10 hours a day. And as I was getting home, I was no energy at all. So I burned out from
Mm.
the work that I used to have in computer science. And then my first thing for me that really helped me to start just to pay attention, because I thought it was normal to live like that. It was normal to feel very low during the weekend, and the Sunday came and it was like, oh my God, Monday is coming. No energy during the weekend. Um, and then having digestive issues already.
Mm.
Uh, so that my very first help towards that was movement, I would say. As you were saying with you, the
Yeah.
eating healthy was your first attempt to look after yourself, your first attempt to do some self-care, to just return to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's interesting because on the one hand, I feel you have to choose something, but ultimately on your path, it is holistic and you start to realize, yeah, you need to move, you need to exercise, you need to, breathe healthy. Um, yeah, but you also need to deal with the inner world as well, which is a lot that you've helped me a lot with that in Gestalt. But I feel like this day and age, people, well, two things. One, everybody wants like a magic bullet. They just want like, tell me the one thing that's going to make me feel okay. But then two, we have such an emphasis on thinking in the mental realm that we just get stuck in that. And then we think we're like, how can we fix the way I think? And we kind of just think about thinking and it's like we're stuck. And I think I was like that for many, many years, like trying to think my way out of like overthinking basically, which was just this loop. Um, so maybe maybe you could speak on that a bit. I think it starts to tie into like movement as a way to kind of free yourself of that overthinking a little bit.
That's
Um,
right. It's so interesting that you mentioned overthinking, because I was an overthinker, and I think I still do that sometimes. And I have gained a lot of awareness of how that works, how that mm, starts in me, right? So A movement was one of the very first ones to start to connect with my body because I was an overthinker. I was constantly using my mind for my work, and then starting to move. And I precisely use dance as a form of medicine. I would say now I call it movement as medicine. So I started to connect with my body. And then after that, I started to notice that, oh, guess what? I am an overthinker, and the overthinking is making my body really tense and then really tight. And that is affecting my digestion. So starting to connect how the mind, how my mind was affecting my body through digestion, but also was not eating very well. I was eating really fast and not chewing properly. Let's say just in a run, and then whatever it was available. So it's so interesting to start to connect the dots all together. Um, and I think that is the purpose of why we are doing this podcast is just to for people to have a better like just maybe having a bigger picture of
Yeah,
who we are. We are not just little thing or only our thoughts, or only our emotions. Yeah. So
for sure. I have one idea. Like
yes, I noticed
what
that something was coming.
the
Yeah.
gears are turning. But what would you suggest if someone catches themselves in like they know they're overthinking, maybe something is stressing them out, they had a long day, something, but maybe and perhaps they're, you know, already overwhelmed. So they didn't catch it, but they're feeling overwhelmed. But they think, okay, Deanna said something about, movement.
Mhm.
Um, is there some simple form of movement or technique you can suggest to people for if they're feeling, overwhelmed at any moment?
Yes, I think what I would suggest is two things. I would suggest movement with breathing. Movement coordinated with breathing. So breathing is extremely important. It's extremely powerful tool. Now we as humans, we take for granted our breath, right? We just don't even think about breathing. Breathing is a function that our body does our automatically, right? But then when we start to bring consciousness to that breathing, when we start to become aware of how we breathe, or to become aware of how we breathe is one, because when we are going through a stressful time, our breath has already changed. So one is to pay attention to how my breath is, my breathing is doing, and then just to pay attention, not to try to change it that much at the beginning. And then with that, how the breath is coordinated with some breathing. For example, you can open your chest just only to breathe and then opening your chest, right? Just opening your chest so that this area has an opportunity to get more oxygen. So as we do that, then our brain immediately is going to respond to that inhaling of oxygen and exhalation of toxins. And then there is going to be a little bit of a pause. So we create a pause there, a break into the moment that is stressful. We are just creating a pause, and that is all that we need to do to begin with. Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
One thing that
How about you, Danny? How about you,
oh,
Danny? What have you done? Or from the work that we have done together, what has been a resource for you now when you are stressed?
I think yeah, breathing is one. Um, I think having habits and consistency, like this is kind of where I'm at now. Like I know I need to exercise at least 3 times a week.
Mhm.
Like ultimate, like the best way to would be to exercise a little bit every day and then kind of go to the gym like 3 times a week. So, like I said, eating healthy, getting enough sleep, like all of these things help me maintain, I guess, a good balance in general. But then if
Mhm.
I do catch myself being overwhelmed, breathing is the first thing that I do go to. Um, and I notice maybe this can give people some hope, but when you're first starting these things, it seems maybe even silly. You're like, this is not sure I feel okay right now for a few minutes, but like I feel like this all the time. This is not going to help. But over time, you catch it sooner and sooner. You don't end up at that panicking state because you're learning, okay, to pay attention to your breathing. Like, okay, I'm not breathing quite right. And the more you can pay attention and be aware of that, the faster you can catch it and you don't have to go to spiral. Something else I noticed is just to speak on, I guess, paying attention. As you're mentioning these things, it's like it's making me realize it in myself because I'm not still not, perfect, but you said something about tension and I was like, oh, okay. And then I relaxed. And then when you started talking about breathing, I took a breath. I'm like, oh, I could probably breathe a bit better. So just being
Wow, that's
present, you
incredible.
know?
Yes, that's incredible. It's incredible how, I just would like to acknowledge that. And then is the connection with your body, how working with you, partnering with you with Gestalt, we went little by little, as you were saying, when you start thinking, oh no, how I'm gonna get there? I'm not gonna be able to make it. But hearing you now, I'm just like, wow, so so proud of you and so moved by the fact that you are connecting with your body right now, immediately. It's just, and that's what we are. We are this connection, body, mind, energy, emotion, spirit. We are not just one thing. We are multidimensional. So I'm
Yeah.
so, wow. Thank you
Yeah, I
for
think
sharing that. Yeah.
well, thanks for your help. And um yeah, I think as you go on your journey, you see the interconnectedness of all of these things.
Mhm.
And when you first start out, that in itself might be overwhelming, but like a lot of
Yeah.
these tools you have with you all the time, like breathing, you always have it with you. So you don't need for that, you don't need like a special book or, you don't need to listen to a recording or something. You always have your breath with you. So it's like if you're on a plane and you're feeling overwhelmed, you can breathe. I think we take for granted how much that can help.
Mhm.
And oftentimes if you're not feeling well, you're not breathing properly, so you're not even getting enough oxygen. So your your mind and body don't really have a chance to be healthy without the appropriate amount of oxygen.
Right, right. And then when you mention something about having a practice, right? Like having
Yeah,
just coming to me now, you were sharing with us that you have a practice weekly, 3 times a day, 3 times a week, and the gym and then eating healthy is like a practice, right?
yes,
So so then when you need it the most, in the moment where you are more stressed out, then you are able to get it so easily, right? Like
yeah,
you can give yourself a snack of breath, sitting on a plane if you are stressed out with the plane moving, or it does, whatever example is, if you are taking the TTC and then you are stressed out because you won't be able to get to work, or you are driving and the traffic is so heavy and you can get to the place where you are going, right? So taking a moment of tapping into that resource,
yeah,
it's coming easier because of the practice that you are doing weekly, you know,
definitely,
you know.
yeah. It's
Mm,
like, yeah, you don't need. if you have certain things in place,
Mhm.
it's not so much of a struggle when you face a real problem. You have the energy and your body is set up to handle it a bit better. Um, yeah, and probably I find that when you have these things in place, you still face life's problems, but they don't feel doesn't feel the same. It's not as intense.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so I guess that there is also obviously the element of thinking, like in dealing with your inner world.
Yes.
I mean, like a lot of the stuff we've talked about, some stuff is like, so for anybody that doesn't know, I guess we didn't explicitly say this, but Deanna is my Gestalt coach as well. So I see her regularly and she helps me through the practice of Gestalt. She's a trained Gestalt coach. So although like eating healthy was like the main thing I feel like for me, and then exercise is also very important for me. Like I'm never gonna feel good if I don't exercise, no matter how much I work on how I think. But that all being said, there is the the inner world and the inner processes, the way you think of yourself, the way you think of your life, your future, your past. Maybe we can kind of speak on that a little bit as well.
Right,
Um,
right. When Danny you said the inner world, right? That's a big one. That is a big, big aspect of ourselves. And the inner world comes with my mind, my emotions. So how emotion, e dash motion is something that is present in my body. So my emotions, my energy, my thinking, my feelings, right? That all this the inner aspect of myself. So, and that is definitely so important. That is what actually took me to train, in Gestalt therapy at the Gestalt Institute of Toronto. For 4 years, I was like, wow, I really need to work on myself with my internal life and then connect with the voices that are in my head, or the parts, let's say not voices, but the parts that are in myself. And then that is what we work. We have worked with you and with everybody I have worked, and is to recognize those aspects of us. In Gestalt, we call them parts, and then the parts have a voice, and then we connect with that voice. We what we are doing is to be present with that part of me, not to mm, deny the existence of it, and not to indulge in it either. There is a Buddhist saying that says, when the thoughts are coming, don't serve them tea, right? It's a fun, don't serve them tea. And that is, I think, what we are learning with Gestalt, and is to stay present and not to create a fantasy or something that is not happening yet, or not to mm, dwell in the past either, because the past is already in the present. So working with the past in the present is what actually can transform our lives. So talking about having an opportunity or creating a space, let's say creating a space for us to have a conversation, to articulate what I feel, not what I'm thinking, but articulating what I'm feeling, is what actually brings mind and body together internally. Um, so, with you, we have used many, many different techniques from Gestalt. For example, becoming aware of the present moment, how I am here
yeah,
in my body, right? And then
yeah,
how's your breath as you are here? And then connecting, because the part of me that really knows is my body first. It is neuroscience says at this point that the information, our nervous system catches the information of everything that is happening before the information gets into the brain,
right.
and then it becomes a thought. So tapping into that source of wisdom is what we do, what we have done with Gestalt. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm just
What,
thinking
what do you
about,
think? Yeah, Daddy.
yeah, like one thing that comes to my mind is just, yeah, being aware of your body and how like hard that can be for some, like you don't realize that you're not even aware of your body. Some people, like myself, I was so stuck in my head that oftentimes I'm not paying attention to my body at all. It's just interesting because it doesn't even come to your mind like, okay, how does my chest feel right now? How does my stomach feel? You can just get so, I can only speak for myself, obviously, but I think other people can relate to this. You're just like so in your head that if someone says like, what do your feet feel like right now? You don't even know. Like, when's the last time you thought about your feet? You know what I mean? Like, some people just, again, myself included, I just had no idea. Like, I might have a pain in my hip for like weeks. And because I'm so stuck in my head, I don't do like some stretches to fix it. I'm just not paying attention to it. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, I guess I just find it interesting that we can be so unaware of our body or not even know that as a concept, if that makes sense. Like that it's and then that it's certainly not considering it a tool or important. Like in our society, I think it's common to not even consider that it's important to feel your body, you know what I mean? You think your emotions are in your head. Everything is in our head, you know? And I think that's part of the problem. Like if you feel sad, I feel sad. Why do I feel sad? Oh, this thing happened to me today. And you don't just sit and say like, sometimes I put my, and I was like, sometimes I just put my hand on my chest to just feel like what my chest feels like, basically. I feel the warmth of my hand on my chest, and it just changes how you're processing your reality.
Right. And then also when I noticed that you do that, and then you have shared with me this in the past that it stops the accumulation of more thought, right?
Right.
More overthinking, which creates more stress, right?
Yes.
Right. hmm And
Yeah.
then the head sometimes feels like this, congested of so much thinking and overthinking. Mhm.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of something that I'm on a journey of right now, is just like tension in my muscles. And I also kind of so I'm approaching it as like, okay, I have problems with like tension in my muscles and it gives me headaches. So that's the main reason I'm looking at this. But as I resolve that, I'm working with a masseuse and I'm doing some like self massage. I'm seeing the connection with my emotions, like everything's kind of connected, but it's quite interesting to see how there's like an alternative to how I can feel, if that makes sense. And because I was had so much tension, that was just normal. I didn't even really pay attention to it. And
Mhm.
now that I'm like loosening up some of the muscles, it's another one where it's like I could see the tension coming in little bits, whereas in the past I was just tense all the time, and it was just how I was.
And then I
Um,
can imagine that as you feeling the tension, when the tension is start to come, then probably you notice that what thought you have, what
right.
your thinking is at that time. Yeah.
Yes.
And then what emotion probably is the thought and the emotions. They are all connected, I think. I
Hmm.
feel, and if I don't stop this cycle, right? Then more of that, it becomes overwhelming. And actually, I can perceive my situation like the world is going to end just because there is a feeding cycle of these two aspects, right? Mhm.
Yes.
And then as you notice there is tension, then uh, it connects you very much. The body is the door to connect with what you are thinking. Hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting. Again, as you're speaking of it, I can honestly feel some tension in my face, just kind of releasing. So just the power of, I think, awareness or presence comes to my mind. Um, I think that maybe is, I want to say, an overarching theme to well-being is presence and paying attention, but also like I guess just knowing how many things there are you can actually tune into. Like if you try to be present, but your whole realm is in your mind, it's not as powerful as someone who is present in a sense that, they're paying attention to their whole body. Um, Maybe you could speak on, I guess, like presence in general.
Right, the presence is being present, being fully present, right? It's so for me, presence starts with the my interoception. What is it that I'm sensing inside of me? Like, what are my sensations? Um, and then as I pay attention to my sensations and my interoception, I open the door to intuition as well.
Oh,
Remember, we
okay.
used to talk about intuition, how intuition
Right.
is part of that being present, because it comes the wisdom and
Hmm.
intuition as I'm more present in my body. And then the presence for me is the alignment of my body with what I'm thinking, and what I am feeling, and the way that I am acting is very much aligned. So if I am feeling calm, I look calm, my mind is calm, and I act as my body is relaxed, right? But if I say that I am calm, I think that I'm calm,
Yeah.
but my shoulders are here, then probably there is not alignment yet into, I'm not fully present yet. So,
Right.
mm, presence, now that you ask me, is just such a wow, is such a profound, for me, such a profound mm, aspect. And mm, yeah, it is very profound because for me, it has to do with the spirit as well.
Hmm.
Your spirit is there, is present. It shows up. You allow your spirit to be there in your authenticity, in how genuine you are. Even if you are just sitting, it doesn't really matter.
And I
How about
think,
you? How about you, Danny? What is for you presence now?
um, I think what comes to my mind as is that as you do these things consciously, like if they don't come natural to you, you have to do it consciously. But you get little glimmers of hope and success,
Mhm,
and
mhm,
then that makes you want to do it more. Um, like for example, I'm talking about the like tension, and like
mhm,
yesterday I noticed the slight amount of tension starting in my neck, and I just thought it was so interesting because I've never noticed that small amount of tension before. So usually it's a lot worse, or a lot of times too far gone. And I notice like when I have a headache, basically. But now that I'm working on it and paying attention, I just noticed this little amount of tension, and it made me like kind of excited. I'm like, wow, like I've never caught it that soon before. And that just, things like that give me motivation to work more with it.
Hmm.
So and but starting off, especially when I started with this masseuse, she gave me these massages to do at home, and I think I had a lot of hope, but in the back of my head, I was thinking like this is not gonna do much. Like it's not really doing much. But I did it anyway. And then one day I realized, oh, this is actually working like a lot better than I thought. I have one idea. So we're talking about presence,
Hmm.
but for people that I guess have to work on being more present, maybe I think giving a contrast to what presence is might be helpful. So like what are some examples of someone not being present, if that makes sense?
Yes, yes. Contrast is something that is very useful, right? To understand sometimes a concept. So, I would say that a person who is not present, uh, it's very, very interesting. Precisely today, I was, being in a training this morning, and I noticed how uh, mm, one person was constantly in talking about repeatedly talking about the problem that she was going through. Uh, and when someone, the coach actually asked her, like, how is it that you're feeling? Like, she couldn't, she needed the, no, the, what I noticed is that she had to stop to check in as though she was not present at that
Mm,
moment. So we might think that the person is present, but actually, the what was happening with her is that she didn't know how she was feeling in here at that moment. You
yeah.
know, so that is one possibility of not being present, and the other very very easy way to know that is that we are not present is when we are doing something, and then we kind of like we don't know what is it that we are doing. uh or we forget immediately what we were doing before. That is another form of not being present. There are different ways in, our mind tricks us very easily to not be present. We might think that we are present, but if we are not including the body, how our body is, then for sure we are not present, because
Mm,
present is including all the parts that we are, not only
okay.
one. Mhm.
I'm kind of starting to think about presence with other people and just
Mhm.
going off of something you just said. Like
Mhm.
you can't be fully present without being aware of your body. It just comes to my mind that perhaps someone may be interacting with another person and
Mhm.
they think they're present because they're trying to pay attention to the other person. And maybe they're just using, but they're just using their mind. They're thinking, okay, I want to be really attentive to this person. Maybe it's a
Mhm.
friend in need, who knows, or someone, like a client or something like that. But if you're focusing intensely on a person, but then you're not paying attention to your breathing,
That's right.
that's that. So I think that could be a trick for someone that's really in their head. They could think, I am really present, but I don't feel well. But if you're like, if I'm like paying attention to every word you're saying right now, but then I'm not paying attention to my body and I'm like hunched over and I'm not breathing, there's there's a lot of things that could go wrong. Like I'm not really connecting with you in a way that I might even think I am, if that makes sense.
That's right. That's right. Like, we can do an experiment right now, which is, how are we feeling here? Are we present with one another in here? Hmm.
Right, interesting. Again, yeah, now that you bring it up, I definitely could be more present. I think I'm trying, but now that you mentioned it, like how am I feeling right here? Like, okay, I'm not fully connected with that.
Mhm.
But at times when I am, I feel a lot more peaceful if I'm kind of feeling my breath, if that makes sense, while I'm processing information from you and
Right,
connecting with you.
right,
Um,
right. Yeah,
I guess
no, you
what
are, so you are so, so right. And then I think you are tapping into something very, very important, which is being with another. Where
exactly,
am
yeah.
I when I am with another? Am I here with me? And from there, I am connecting, or I am all of me is outside of me
Okay, yeah.
with my energy in the other person. Mhm. And then I actually don't know what's happening in here. Yeah.
Right. Okay. There's like a few things there, I think, right? Like, I guess
Mhm.
maybe we could talk about a few aspects of interacting with other people. But
Mhm.
one thing that jumped out to me is putting I guess putting your energy out into, I don't know what you would call it, like almost like the field that you're in.
Mhm.
So I think it ties into boundaries, right? Like so potentially someone could be paying attention to someone that they're interacting with, but they're not taking care of themselves. Um, I guess yeah, maybe you could speak on it because I feel like you may have something to say on that. I guess perhaps boundaries or just the concept of your energy going outward, perhaps a bit too much.
Mhm. It is, as I'm hearing you saying that, Danny, it's coming to me the fact that how we started our conversation today, our podcast today, it was how, eating healthy is important, movement is important, uh, connecting with your inner world is important, how we are a whole being, right? And then now, when we are connecting with another human being,
Mhm.
if we have been taking care of our being, right, our own being fully, then it will be easier to connect with another human being, right? So it will be
Yes.
easier because I have been working on my breath, I have been working on all the things that we have talked about. And then as I am relating with others, then mm, how I know, because I have been in here with my breath, with my health, with my healthy eating, with my movement, everything is looking after the whole of you. Then now when you are with another, and then you feel that you follow what you are sensing, right?
Mhm.
What your inner world, what is your inner world saying? And your inner world says, well, I need to have a boundary here. So expand your boundary, right? Because you are sensing it, you are feeling, you are not thinking about it, but you're sensing it, and then you can expand your boundary if you feel it, if you are feeling it, right? If your nervous system feels it. Mhm.
Interesting.
So then you can expand your energy out, because we are feelings, you are beings, I'm sorry, beings of energy, you know.
Right.
For
Yeah.
me, I believe that in Chinese medicine, because it works with the acupuncture meridians in the body, and the meridians are filled with energy. So you can expand your energy as you have an energy field that is called the Wei Qi. Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's something now that we're talking about, it's something I'm still working on. But definitely very interesting.
Mhm.
Um,
Did I answer your question about, how the boundary and being in relationship with another?
yeah.
By being here, I can actually relate more with another than when I am not here. When I am not here, I'm more like probably changing myself to be with another,
I
you
I
know?
think I
That,
think oh
mm,
sorry. But like I'm thinking of people who perhaps they're kind people, maybe like people pleasing kind of people. I relate to this a bit. I'm a bit like this where I'm like, I'm paying attention to the other person, and then I'm basically going on their journey or ride wherever they want or wherever they're going. I'm just like following, which probably isn't good. Again, I'm still learning about this, but I think the way you spoke about boundaries and being healthy and expanding your boundary, that's quite helpful, and it's definitely something I'm still working on. It's not like automatic by no means for
Right,
me.
because if we are not healthy, right, then it's our weiqi, our energy, it won't be as strong as it would be, if we are eating healthy, exercising, resting. So everything is connected. So energy is also, our energy will also be affected by it.
And that
Right?
can
It makes
help,
so much
yeah. And then say if I'm someone who feels, oh, I'm being affected negatively by someone else, these building this kind of practice can help you be able to get through those kind of interactions in a more healthy way. Like it's not that you're just at the mercy of the world. You can build tools for yourself that make you, I guess, stronger in a way or more in
sense.
control of how you feel.
Yes, completely. I've seen it in you, how it has changed over the time we have been working together, because I feel the willingness that you have, the openness, the willingness that you have to give that to yourself, right?
Mhm.
There is now a lot of talk about self-love, self-love, and then self-care, and then not leaving yourself alone. That's what it is about. Like giving what you need to be able to be 100% who you are outside in the world. So it makes so much sense to me to see the progress uh, of that aspect of being more present because you eat better,
Yeah,
because you exercise the way that you want to exercise, and you include your breath. You include your thoughts. The thoughts, one a big one, Danny, that is coming these days into the therapy and coaching realm is the thoughts that I have about myself, inside of myself, right? And we have worked with that, and I am working right now a lot with clients in that, like, what is it that I say to myself?
right.
But nobody knows it. The only one who knows that
Yeah.
is me or
Uh-huh.
you internally. You are the
Right.
expert of your own life. So
Interesting.
it is such an incredible um, field, the one that we are talking about, which is energy, and it's a field that is also impacted by thoughts as well. I, mhm.
Interesting. All right. I think we can start to wrap up soon. I have one last kind of question, comment, and then maybe you can just kind of say anything else you would like to say. But something that came into my head, it's kind of, I think, a natural progression of what we're speaking on is that for myself anyway, now that I feel fairly healthy, like often, I still have my bad days, obviously, but I feel like I'm able to have a more genuine connection with other people. So, and I feel like it's because I'm present and I feel okay. So, for example, I may have a small interaction with someone that I don't even know, just, hold the door for someone kind of thing. But I'm just so present, and maybe I just make eye contact and have a genuine smile. I feel like being healthy and being able to be present like that, it actually starts to affect other people in a positive way. So maybe, yeah, maybe you could speak on that. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it completely makes sense to me. The fact that when I am feeling good in my own skin. I'm feeling good with who I am. I accept myself fully, completely, in the good times, in the bad times, with my flaws and with my, I don't know, virtues. Um, and everything in between, right? And I look after myself. Then that I feel that we start to mm, connect from that place, from a place of abundance more than a place from lacking.
Mhm.
hmm Yeah. And then what my experience has been is from that place, then the people that I connect with, they are inspired by the connection, not by me or how I do, but actually the connection that we both have. Mhm.
Okay, that's interesting.
The feel that we create. Right? And that inspires people. As you were saying, just holding the door, having a smile that is genuine, not that smile that, people pleasing, which also is something important to see, I wouldn't like to criticize that because I had it too for a long time and I work with that as well. But giving it the chance to that mm, uh, people pleasing aspect to just come and talk and then discover it more. What is it? Because it was a creative adjustment. Creatively we adapted and we use it to be able to adapt. So it is. I completely believe in that. What you're saying.
Amazing. So I think this is like a good time to wrap up. Um, is there anything else you would like to say, or maybe just feel like we could say something a little bit inspiring or encouraging, I feel like, to leave people
Mhm.
with. Um,
Yes. What would it
so
be?
I have something, so I'll let
Oh
you have
yes,
some
please
time to
go
think of
ahead.
something.
Yes, please.
Hopefully, yeah, I'll put you on the spot a bit, but you have to have something inspiring by the time
I
I'm
like
done.
that. Thank you.
So what I'm
And I like the
thinking,
fact that I can, pass the baton to you. The
fair
baton.
enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So what I'm thinking is that I guess I would like to inspire people in a little way that maybe you're in a place where I was not long ago, like not feeling so well. And what I'd like to say is that even these like little glimmers of change, these small changes, like when you experience them, and I think most people can at least experience a small change, just like hold on to that and take that as inspiration that there's more change to come. And often these little changes are the big change. Like these little changes that stack up, and before you know it, you look back and you're like, wow, like come so far. But it's a lot of times these little changes, it's not this large leap that changes overnight. So that's my best effort to inspire people.
Yes, and I think it's very, very beautiful. As you were sharing that, Danny, it just came to me the ocean, a drop,
Yeah.
water, like you have a drop and a wave, I'm sorry, a wave and water also, a drop of water. And then a drop of water is just very small, right?
Mhm.
But if you continually let that drop of water to have the space for that, it will create something big and powerful, right?
Right, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So that's incredible. And for me, I would say that believe in you, believe in yourself, believe in the in your potential. All of us, we are 100% healthy. We are 100% full of potential. We all have experiences we struggle sometimes with health issues, with mental health, with our well-being, and at the same time, trust in the um, ability of your body, of yourself to heal. in every realm, mind, body, and spirit and energy. So believe in yourself, trust in the process. Whenever you feel that you need help, follow that. Follow that wanting to make a change, because that's how we started, Danny, when you were that this is it. I need to do something. So I
Yeah.
believe a lot in that. I need to do something about it. And don't give up, but just
Yeah.
the first step. I need to do something, even if it's I'm gonna sit and take a deep breath, you
Yeah.
know, and then don't leave yourself alone. So believe in your potential. I do believe immensely in the potential of our human potential. So yeah, that is what I
Amazing.
would say for now.
Awesome. So yeah, I guess we can wrap up here and thanks everybody for listening and
Thank you,
um,
everybody, for being here. Thank you, Danny, for opening this space, for creating this space.
thank you, Deanna. It's been great talking with you.
Yes, it's been a very, very, very beautiful. I have a full heart right now. Mhm. Mhm.
Awesome. Thanks. Okay. All right. Take care, everyone. See you.
Take care, everybody. Bye.